Assalamu alaikum everyone. In this video, we will explore recent climate summit COP30 that held in Belém, Brazil. Let's get started. A decisive moment for global climate action. The 30th United Nations Climate Change Conference COP30 has opened in the Amazonian city of Belém, Brazil, at one of the most critical moments in the global climate story. 10 years after the signing of the Paris Agreement, the world returns to Brazil, the birthplace of modern climate diplomacy, only to discover that the goals agreed upon in 2015 are drifting out of reach. With record heat waves, devastating floods, and rising climate related losses, COP30 begins with an urgent warning from the United Nations. The 1.5 degrees Celsius limit is slipping away, and only rapid, coordinated global action can restore hope. The core crisis at COP30, a deepening climate finance gap. But the central crisis overshadowing COP30 is not political, it is financial. A major report by the COP30 Circle of Finance Ministers reveals a stark reality. While global climate finance reached an all-time high of $1 trillion in 2023, developing countries received barely 10% of it. Emerging markets and developing economies, the ones that need climate investment the most, continue to be sidelined. The report estimates that these countries require at least $2.4 trillion per year by 2030, rising to $3.3 trillion by 2035 to achieve clean energy transition, adaptation, resilience, and to respond to loss and damage. This is a five-fold increase from current investment levels. Without this money, the Paris promise cannot be delivered. Adaptation, nature-based solutions, and the cost of neglect. The financing gap becomes even more alarming when we look at adaptation and nature-based solutions. These are the investments that protect vulnerable communities from floods, droughts, storms, and rising sea levels. Yet, they remain severely underfunded. Global adaptation needs are estimated at up to $387 billion a year, but international public flows in 2022 were only $28 billion. Nature-based solutions essential for biodiversity and land restoration require more than $400 billion by 2030, yet only half that amount is currently being mobilized. The economic consequences of this neglect are already visible. In 2024 alone, climate-related disasters caused more than $320 billion in losses. Insurance systems are under strain. Inflation is rising due to climate shocks, and central banks warn that delayed climate action could undermine financial stability worldwide. Economic opportunity, clean energy becomes cheaper and smarter. Despite these bleak numbers, COP30 also brings a powerful message of economic opportunity. Clean technologies, once seen as expensive, have now outcompeted fossil fuels in most regions. According to IEA and IRENA, 91% of new renewable energy projects in 2024 were cheaper than fossil alternatives. Renewable energy saved the world an estimated $467 billion in avoided fuel costs last year. Battery prices have fallen nearly 90%. Experts agree that accelerating clean investment by even a few percentage points of GDP could unlock millions of jobs, reduce energy dependency, and spark a new era of global economic growth. Countries that invest now will lead the industries of the future. Those that delay will face the heaviest long-term economic losses. The staggering cost of climate inaction. Still, the cost of inaction remains staggering. Under current policies, global GDP could contract by up to 15% by 2050 due to climate impact. If temperature rise 3 degrees Celsius by the end of the century, a scenario many scientists now consider plausible, the world would lose 30% of its economic output. For perspective, the global recessions of 2009 and 2020, GDP fall by only 1.3 and 2.8%. The climate crisis is therefore not only an environmental emergency, it is an existential economic threat. Opening of COP30 calls for unity amid global divisions. Against this backdrop, COP30 opened with a plea for unity. UN climate chief Simon Steele told delegates that their mission is not to fight one another, but to fight the climate crisis together. Yet, divisions were evident from the start. Developing blocs pushed to put climate finance and carbon taxes at the center of negotiations. The United States, the world's largest historic emitter, opted to skip the summit entirely. And while most major countries have submitted their updated national climate plans or NDCs, the UN warns they are still nowhere near sufficient. Current pledges would cut global emissions by only 12% by 2035. To stay within 1.5 degrees Celsius, the world needs cuts of at least 60%. Brazil's leadership, the Baku to Belém roadmap. Brazil, as COP30th president, aims to break this deadlock through the Baku to Belém roadmap, a comprehensive strategy to reshape global climate finance. The plan revolves around 5 pillars: replenishing concessional funds for climate vulnerable nations, rebalancing global debt burdens, rechanneling private investment, revamping national capacities, and reshaping global financial systems to make climate funding transparent, accessible, and fair. Brazil's own flagship proposal, the $125 billion Tropical Forests Forever facility, seeks to reward countries for preserving rainforests with a dedicated share for indigenous communities. More than 70 developing countries could benefit. Pakistan at COP30, high stakes for a climate vulnerable nation. From Pakistan, Chief Minister of Punjab Maryam Nawaz participated. For vulnerable nations like Pakistan, COP30 carries exceptional weight. Pakistan has emerged as a strong diplomatic voice on climate justice, especially after the catastrophic 2022 floods that displaced millions and caused losses exceeding $30 billion. Yet the new Global Loss and Damage Fund, though a historic achievement, still holds under $1 billion in total, far below what countries like Pakistan require. At COP30, Pakistan emphasizes both urgency and accountability. Its pavilion, titled From the Indus to the Amazon, highlights national efforts on resilience, renewable energy, deforestation, and climate-smart agriculture. Provincial initiatives such as e-mobility projects and the Suthra Punjab campaign demonstrates growing local leadership. However, Pakistan also faces pressure to improve domestic climate governance, phase down fossil fuel dependence, and transparently implement green finance. The bottom words. The world's choice: deliver the Paris Promise or face irreversible loss. As the world gathers under the canopy of the Amazon, COP30 stands as a defining moment. The science is unambiguous, the economics are compelling, and the impacts are already unfolding. What remains uncertain is whether global leaders will act with the speed and unity that this moment demands. The pathway to 1.5 degrees Celsius still exists, but only if countries move from promises to implementation, from negotiation to investment, and from division to collective action. COP30 asks the world to choose: deliver on the Paris Promise or face a future of irreversible loss. The time to act is not tomorrow, it is now.